I say it time and time again. There's a direct correlation between the amount of bids that you put into the DIB system and the amount of awards that you're going to win. It really is a volume game. But as you get your quote from your vendors, you determine what the packaging cost is and you add your margin on top, eventually you're going to submit a bid. But what happens after you do submit that bid? Are you just given that award? Does it automatically happen? Or maybe the contracting officer reaches out to you to start a line of communication. There are a few different things that could potentially happen, and you can watch that video that I created here. But one thing that could happen, especially if you're new to the industry or you don't have a long track history with the DLA, they'll give you what is called a Vendor Capability Questionnaire. I remember when we first started out and we got our first Vendor Capability Questionnaire, we knew we were this close to winning our award. But when we opened up that Vendor Capability Questionnaire, we were overwhelmed. They asked a ton of different questions that we really didn't have the answer to. So in this video, what we're going to do is go over that Vendor Capability Questionnaire so you don't have that same problem. So with that, let's dive right in. Hello everyone, my name is Tristan Thomas with Mend Sourcing, and in today's video, we're going to go over the Vendor Capability Questionnaire. This form is typically given to those that the government is really unsure if you can actually deliver on the item for this award. So they're going to give you this document that you need to fill out that gives them a little bit more confidence that you know what you're doing. Typically, this form is given to those that are new in the industry, or maybe you don't necessarily have a long track history with the DLA. So when you do get this form, don't freak out. We're going to go over all of the questions that they're asking and the answers that you should be putting in for those questions. But before we dive into that, for those that are new to this channel, please do hit that subscribe button below, as our goal is to help you win government contracts. We put out these long form videos at least twice per month and short form videos every week. So please, again, hit that subscribe button below. So when you put your bid into the system and that contracting officer looks at all of those bids, before they award the item, they want to ensure that you have the capabilities to deliver on that award. And for those that don't necessarily have a long track history, or maybe this is their brand new first contract, there's a little hesitation from the government to issuing you that contract. But if they are thinking about giving it to you, they may have you fill out what's called a Vendor Capability Questionnaire. And that Vendor Capability Questionnaire is given to you from a contracting officer. And what they do is they email it out to you and you'll receive an email that looks like this. An email right here, it says, "Good afternoon. In order to get an accurate assessment of your technical and financial capabilities as they relate to your offer for the contract, or the RFQ, please provide the following information by close of business at a specific time. Failure to provide information or request an extension by the due date will result in your offer being determined unacceptable." So I remember, and again, this email is from 2022. It's been a very long time since we've filled out a Vendor Capability Questionnaire. We have a long track history with the government, so we don't get asked this question. But when we first received this, we freaked out. What we did is we opened up the document, and this is what the document looked like. And as you can see right here, it's on the DLA letterhead, has my name right here with our address. And then it's saying, "Hey, Tristan, in order to get an accurate assessment for this contract, I need you to provide the information that we're asking for." And as you see right here, it's going to be 10 different questions that they're asking. Many different things. We're going to go over one by one, but just to give you an understanding, they're going to ask for the description of our company background. They want to know if we have previous government experience. What is the exact location of the manufacturing plants and the machinery and the equipment? What is our in-house verification requirements to make sure that the items are what they say they are? What's our follow-up process? So there were many different questions that were on here. And I remember the first time getting this and just freaking out because, to be honest, we didn't have the answers to all of these questions, but we knew we needed to have these answers. And after we did complete it, it actually gave us a better understanding of what we needed to do to fill it out. So although it was an item that we didn't necessarily want to fill out, we knew that it was going to make us better, and it has made us better moving forward. So when you do receive this, the reason why I wanted to go over it in this video is because do not feel overwhelmed. I'm going to go over it step by step of what you actually need to do. And if you reach out to me, we do actually have this template that I can provide to you that gives you generic versions of all of the answers that we did provide. So I can do just that. So if you haven't already and you want this, please do reach out to me and I can give you this template. So the first question that they're asking here is give a description of your company's background. So what we did here is we just looked back at the history of where we started and all the pieces of the puzzle that make Mend Sourcing who Mend Sourcing is. So we talked about exactly when we were established. We talked about how we're a service-disabled veteran-owned small business and what we specialize in, which is C-class fasteners. Also, we mentioned that we work on the commercial side of the business, but emphasize the government contract space by bidding on contracts that fit our profile, where we believe we find a competitive advantage. We talked about the amount of experience that we have. So me and my business partner, we have over 18 years of experience with a military background and working for a C-class fastener distribution company. Also, when we first started, we decided that we wanted to get our AS and ISO certification. It is expensive, but we ended up going about doing it, and it actually helped us develop these processes. So we wanted to let them know, hey, we have an ISO and an AS certification, and it's been certified as of a specific date that provides a benchmark for high quality. And we talked to them or told them where our office is, which is in Los Angeles, California. So all you would want to do in this section is just give a company background, the history, why they should be using you. These are the value adds that you want to put here. Next, they ask for the resumes of our key technical management personnel. So if you don't already have a resume, or maybe it's an old resume, dust that off because you do have to attach it. So myself, as well as my business partner, we attached our resumes to the email that we send back. So we filled out this document, completed this document, and also sent them our resumes. So we did that. Even if you don't have any government experience, does not matter. Just provide them your resumes. It doesn't have to be government related. Then the next thing is, do you have any previous government or commercial experience on the same or similar items? If so, please provide invoices and references that can be contacted to establish a record of satisfactory performance. So again, we talked a little bit about our experience, and because this was not our first contract, but it was other contracts that we had, we put inside of here the contracts that we've had previously. So we included what those contracts were and how many we have in the works. We talked a little bit about that. And then we also talked about some of our reliable partners. So what we did is we looked at who are the 4 top vendors that we use that we think would vouch for who we are. So we put exactly the name of that company, their cage code, and who the person to contact is. We didn't give them contact information. We just said, hey, this person at this company is who you could contact if you want to. So just give them a little bit of a warm and fuzzy of, hey, we do have partners that work with us that can vouch for us. So we put that information here. Next one was, in order to demonstrate an understanding of the technical requirements of the solicitation, please identify the production process involved. This was probably the most challenging piece because we had to think about it from start to finish. If we were receiving this award today, what does the process entail from start to finish? So what we mentioned is, or what we told them is just the story of what happens when they award it. So if this solicitation is awarded, we are going to not produce the part because we are a distributor, but we're going to get it from XYZ company. What we're going to do is make sure that company is vetted. So we say that our supplier has been thoroughly vetted and has ensured us that they can make the item at the highest quality standard and provide it within the expected delivery date. We say that company will manufacture the part according to the latest revision of the technical quality requirements set forth in that solicitation. Then after completion of the goods, the product will be sent to us in Los Angeles and further inspection per AS and ISO certification, and then the completion of the contract will be fulfilled. So we went over that. Now, one question that I get when I do talk to some of my clients about this, do I need AS and ISO certification? On some contracts, yes. Like a critical safety item, yes. So a higher level item, this is highly recommended that you do get some sort of higher quality management system in place, but you don't need it for all contracts. Then the next question is, please identify the exact location of the manufacturing plant, machinery, equipment, all the personnel, and all the subcontractors that are going to be part of it. Remember that if you win a contract, you are the main contractor and everyone else is the subcontractor. So we put us as the main contractor, and then who's going to do the manufacturing of the item, and then who's going to do the fulfillment and the packaging of that item. Now, since we do our packaging in-house, I would put us as the main contractor and the fulfillment packaging center. But if you have a different packaging house, and if you're looking for one, reach out to us. You would put that information of that company right here. The distributor or the manufacturer, whomever, would be the subcontract. If you are getting it from a distributor and the distributor has a relationship with the manufacturer, I would put distributor that you're getting it from here, as well as the manufacturer who they are getting it from. Everyone that's going to be part of this should be listed in this section. Next question here is, please describe your company's plan for timely placement of orders for supplies and material or for subcontracts. So what we said is here, upon the award, we'll review the contract thoroughly and then communicate with the manufacturer on the same day. Once that's done, we're going to send out our purchase order. Purchase order will be accompanied with any needed flow downs. So a flow down is any information from that contract that you need to give the manufacturer to ensure that they make it correctly. And then we will continue to monitor the progress of the manufacturer based on a milestone chart agreed to between all parties. Now what that is, the milestone chart could just be as simple as purchase order is here, the expected delivery date is here, and we're just going to monitor throughout the entire process. It can be as simple as that. You don't necessarily have to have one ironed out and signed, but as long as you know the expectations and your manufacturer knows the expectations. And then once the parts are completed according to the latest or agreed to revision, they will be shipped to us and we're going to complete the in-house inspection and make sure it's compliant. And then the packaging is going to be done and all of that is going to be taken care of. So we're in this section, we're just going step by step of what we need to do. Then the next thing of 6A says, describe your in-house inspection verification requirements when receiving materials from a vendor/subcontractor. Now, again, going back to the fact that we're AS and ISO certified, we're using our quality system processes and just outlining exactly what those QSPs are. You might not have one, but in the world that we live in today, it's as quick as running it through ChatGPT or whatever you're using, and then creating a quality system process for each thing that you do. You can do that quickly through ChatGPT. This was created pre-ChatGPT, so we actually had to have this all done prior to that. We live in a much more easier world when it comes to creating a quality management system manual. Then it's going to say, describe your company's follow-up system to ensure the quoted delivery schedule is achieved if a vendor fails to deliver timely. This is a challenge because you can send out your purchase order to a manufacturer, but what's going to guarantee that they're going to get you the parts on time? I can't tell you how often we'll send in a purchase order. We have an expectation date of whatever it is, and then they're late. This is why we embed a padding of our delivery days when we place in our bid. So if a manufacturer says it's going to be 120 days to get us the part, great. In my head, I automatically think 150 days, 160 days. Because if I bake the delivery days inside of the potential lateness of receiving the item, then I don't have to worry about it too much. But what they want to know here is they want to know exactly what are you going to do? How are you going to follow up? Are you going to be the squeaky wheel to ensure that they actually get the part? Because the last thing you want to do is deliver or not get the parts, the delivery date expires, the DLA reaches out to you, you don't have an answer, and then they cancel the contract. They don't care that the manufacturer cannot make the parts on time because you are the main contract. So it's something that you really need to be aware of and should have a process in place of how you're going to ensure that you keep on track of getting that part on time. Then question number 7 is, does your company have an active quality assurance system? We do, which is the AS and ISO certification, but you don't have to have one. You can create one, do it because it's going to allow you to win awards like this. So what we said is we adhere to the standards of ISO and AS 9100. Our quality assurance system was reviewed, approved, and certified as recently as November of 2024. All you got to do in this case is just put something along the lines of, we have our own quality assurance system. It can be outlined here, and you can give that document attached to the email. Next question here is, what standard does your company use to calibrate and control measuring and testing equipment? If the calibration process is subcontracted, please identify the subcontractor and the standard they use. All we said here is just this one line. We say compliant with the NIST standard for calibration certification for inspecting parts. And that was it. And we actually got that line directly from the manufacturer that uses this. So, hey, we don't have to worry about it at that point moving forward. Next question they ask is, will your company require outside financing to complete the contract? If so, describe the method of financing. They want to make sure that you don't go broke by winning this award and trying to supply it, because there could potentially be a gap between you paying your supplier and you getting awarded from the government. Now, I have this question asked a lot is, if I can't finance this properly, always tell people, if you have an award, go back to the vendor and tell them exactly, hey, I got this award. I'm willing to work with you in the terms, maybe net 30, net 45, but you want to make sure that you're not dishing out money prior to them even making the part. Worst case scenario, what should be happening with your vendors is that you pay for the parts when they give it to you. Best case scenario is that you have net 30, net 45, whatever it might be. But if any manufacturer is saying that, hey, you got to give us 50% up front before we make the parts, and those parts will be ready in 6 months, if you give them money, they're never going to give you back that money. If they're late and it's not 6 months, it turns into 9 months or 12 months. So don't give them that extra leverage. Many manufacturers are not going to turn down, actually most manufacturers will not turn down a government contract. So in this, we said that we do not require outside financing to complete the contract, as we have sufficient funds within our general account to ensure quick claims paying ability to all parties, as well as the cash flow and liquidity for possible other cost expenses. And then the last question they ask here is, do you have any other information or data that would help to demonstrate your capability to perform the contract? This is just basically your little statement of, hey, look, we can do what we're being requested of, and we'll ensure that it gets done properly. So you really got to sell them on this fact. So what we said is, we are fully capable of completing the contract to the expected standard. We have strong relationships with both our manufacturer and packaging company. Because of these relationships, all stakeholders are fully aligned with delivering the item accurately and in a timely manner. If there are any questions, comments, or need for clarification, please do not hesitate to reach out to us, and then our information is right here. And then I would typically write it here on a PDF, I would have it signed, and then I'm going to send it back. So when I do send it back and I send it to this person, not only am I going to send them a signed vendor capability questionnaire with all of my answers, but all of the documentation that I had referenced in that vendor capability questionnaire. So please do make sure that you put and attach all of those files that you referenced in the vendor capability questionnaire. And then from there, it's just a wait and see moment. So typically, if you receive a vendor capability questionnaire, it really does mean that you're that close to winning the contract. It probably is between you and maybe 1 or 2 other companies, and then that's it. Many companies will not fill out this vendor capability questionnaire. So you improve the probability that you win it if you provide them this vendor capability questionnaire. This vendor capability questionnaire is not something that you're going to be asked for every single time that you're about to win an award. It typically only happens to those that are brand new into the industry or you don't have a really long track history with the DLA. But over time, and you win more awards and you fulfill them, you'll get that supplier risk score will continue to increase. And as it increases, there will be no need for a vendor capability question. The last time that we received one was maybe about 2.5, 3 years ago. But being that we work and we do a lot of training with other people that are in government contracting, we get this question a lot about filling out the vendor capability questionnaire, which is why we wanted to do this video right here. That is the vendor capability questionnaire for DLA contracts. Again, after you do bid on a government contract, you may be asked this question. Don't shy away from it, embrace it, and know that it's going to make you a better organization as a whole. You'll understand exactly what your capabilities are, the entire process of things, and you're going to win more contracts because you went through the process. And with that, I want to thank you for your time today going over the vendor capability questionnaire. Again, my name is Tristan Thomas with Mend Sourcing. If you haven't already, please do hit that subscribe button below, as we do put out these long form videos twice a month and short form videos at least once or twice a week. So please, again, do hit that subscribe button below. And with that, I want to thank you and have a great rest of your day.